Hey guys, welcome back to Incognito. My name is Gautam and today we are going to learn about the for loop in JavaScript. Let's get started. A loop is a tool in programming which is used to repeatedly execute code until and unless a given condition is met. Programmers often find themselves iterating through loops instead of rewriting the same statement again and again. This makes the code look neat and clean. To understand the convenience of loops better, let's create an array first. I'm going to give it the name of the array name of movies, and the array will contain 3 movies. Let's say one will be Fight Club, one more will be let's say The Godfather, other one will be The Butterfly Effect. So now we have three elements in the movies array over here. Now let's say that I want to print each element to the console. I have to come below the array and write 3 different console.log statements over here. One will be movies, movies of 0. Then I'm going to copy paste this line and two times over here. Then I'm going to say movies of 1 and movies of 2. This statement will print Fight Club. This second statement, movies of 1, will print The Godfather, and movies of 2 will print the butterfly effect to the console. Let's save this and see what happens. We have Fight Club, The Godfather, and the butterfly effect to the console as expected. But notice how we've repeated lots of code over here. We have rewritten 3 console.log statements, and the only difference is the index of the element. So now we can use loops to simplify our code and make it look more clean and readable. Let's go over the structure of a for loop now. We begin by writing the keyword for. I'm going to put everything into a comment now, just to explain. So now we have a multi-line comment under which I'm going to write the structure of a for loop. We begin by writing the for keyword and then opening a pair of parentheses. And now within these pair of parentheses we will have 3 items. The first one is the initial condition, or initial state rather, followed by a semicolon. The second item is the condition for which the loop runs, followed by one more semicolon, and then the third and last item is the change in the loop variable. Let me just extend the VS Code first. Yeah, this looks better. Now I open a code block and write all the code which I want to be executed within the loop over here. So I'm going to keep maybe 3 statements over here. Statement 3. So now we know the structure of a for loop. Let's go and see how it runs. So when we declare a for loop, JavaScript uses the initial state to declare a loop variable. Usually programmers use the variable I to hold the initial state. The second condition is the condition for which a loop runs. So over here we put in a condition and to check which JavaScript checks if it's true or false, and if the condition is true, the statements are executed again and again. The last statement is a change in the loop variable. So once all the statements are executed once, JavaScript will come to the change in the loop variable item and then change the loop variable and then again check the condition, and then if the condition is true, it will run the statements again, and then once that's done, it will come back over here, change the loop variable, check the condition again, and then come back to the statements. So now we know how a for loop works. Let's write a for loop to print each element in the movies array to the console, like we've done over here. Before that, let me just comment all this out. Now we can write the code for the for loop. So again, I begin by writing the for loop, the for keyword, and now the initial state over here, I want it to be a variable. So I'm going to declare a variable let I is equal to 0. I'm giving I the value of 0 because that's the first index in the movies array, followed by a semicolon, and then the second item is condition for which the loop runs. I want the loop to run for the entire length of the array, so that means I should be less than movies dot length. Now I have to follow another semicolon, and then the last item is change in the loop variable. I have to, so now I want to print every element in the movies array. That means I should increment and I should increase its value by 1, so that once JavaScript will go to the next element after printing out the previous element. Now I open a code block and I simply say console.log movies of I. So now this for loop when runs will print each individual element inside the movies array to the console. Let's save this and see what happens. We do get Fight Club, The Godfather, and The Butterfly Effect all in order of movies, all in the correct order. Let's review this code once. We have the initial state, let I is equal to 0, as we can match it over here. But most programmers tend to declare the variable inside the for loop itself. But some others also like to declare the variable outside the loop, just like this, and then remove the let inside over here. This 0 should not be over here. Yeah, now let's save it, and again we still get the same output, but with a small change. The variable is declared outside the loop than inside the for loop. But the problem with this is I can be used anywhere outside the for loop, whereas if I declare variable if I declare the variable inside the for loop, I can be used only inside the for loop. This is why programmers prefer to declare variables inside the parentheses. Now we come to the next condition, I less than movies.length. If I had put I is less than equal to movies.length, JavaScript will throw an error when it comes to the last element. This is because though the length of movies is 3, the last index is only 2 because indexing begins from 0. So therefore, if I had put less than equal to, JavaScript will run even if I is equal to 3. But if I put less than, JavaScript will run only until I is equal to 2. So now JavaScript first executes these two statements, initial state and the condition, and then if the condition is true, it will execute the statements inside the for loop first, and then once these statements are executed, it will come and increment the I variable, and then go back and check the condition again. If the condition is true, it will re-execute the statements, and then again come back to the change in the loop variable, and then again check the condition. If it is true, it will execute. So now assume that I is equal to 2, and the statement this statement has been executed. So now we know that I is equal to 2, but JavaScript will come to this line over here and increase the value of I by 1, and now it comes and checks the condition. Now I will be equal to 3 because of this statement, but 3 is not less than movies.length because movies.length is 3 and 3 is equal to 3 and 3 is not less than 3. So therefore this condition is false and the statements will stop executing and the program ends with that. So guys, that was it for this video. If you liked it, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. It will really help us out a lot, and thank you for watching.